Deep within a sprawling jungle, vibrant with life and color, a newcomer arrived silently. His black coat shone under the glimmer of a fractured sunlight breaking through the thick canopy. He was unlike the other animals, sleek, powerful, and dark as night. His name was Zayo, a black panther who had roamed for days searching for a place to rest, somewhere he could call home. But the jungle was not as welcoming as Zayo had hoped. Whispers traveled on the winds amongst the animals. "Did you see that panther?" murmured the deer. "He's so dark it's unsettling. Nothing good can come of him." A rabbit twitched its nose nervously. "I've always heard black animals bring bad luck. He doesn't belong here." Two parrots flapped their vibrant wings, squawking as they perched above. "What if he's dangerous? He doesn't look like us. We need to send him away." Zayo heard the murmurs. He felt the sidelong glances and noticed how the animals avoided him. When he tried to join a group of them by the river, the air froze with tension. "Hello," Zayo said, his voice calm and steady. "My name is Zayo. I've traveled far, and I was hoping to find peace here, to rest among you." The parrot immediately interjected, "Peace? Ha! Not with you here. Your presence is a curse." "You don't belong in this jungle, Panther," added a monkey. "The jungle's been fine without you. Don't ruin it for the rest of us." Zayo's golden eyes softened, but he didn't argue. "If my presence disturbs you, then I'll leave." The others watched him, some with judgment, others with discomfort. A slow rumble of agreement came from the elephant standing at the edge of the gathering. "Yes, it's for the best," the elephant said. "We must protect our jungle. Different isn't always safe." Even the old tortoise, wiser and slower in thought, nodded hesitantly. "Different, yes, different can be dangerous." Zayo turned his gaze toward the deeper parts of the jungle. "Very well, I'll go." He padded away quietly, his heart heavy. He'd known rejection before, but it still stung every time. He had hoped this jungle might be different. As evening descended, the jungle stirred uneasily. The sky above began to shift, its soft blue melting into hues of dark purples and shimmering golds. The clouds swirled unnaturally, as if dancing to a rhythm unseen. Suddenly, a beam of golden light streaked across the horizon, landing somewhere deep within the jungle. "What's happening?" cried the deer, its ears twitching in fear. "This can't be good," exclaimed the rabbit. "I told you black animals bring bad luck, and look, now the skies are cursed." The birds took flight, flapping chaotically. The other animals began to scatter in fear, unsure of what the swirling, unnatural beauty in the sky meant. "This is bad," said the parrot, his feathers puffed up. "This is because of that panther. He brought this upon us." Panic began to ripple through the jungle. The animals bickered and shouted, pointing blame at Zayo, even as they scrambled for a solution. All the while, the celestial lights above continued their strange, mesmerizing display. The once lively jungle now felt cold and unfamiliar. Zayo, watching from a distance, lifted his head toward the sky. His sharp eyes studied the patterns, the movement of the lights. He had heard stories of this phenomenon long ago, tales whispered by his ancestors. This was the star spiral, a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon said to bring great change. It wasn't an omen of doom, but a guide. He realized then what he needed to do. Gathering his courage, Zayo made his way back toward the animals. Their fear-filled voices grew louder as he approached. "Stop!" Zayo called out, his voice strong but steady. "You're all in danger, but running will only make things worse." The animals stilled, startled by Zayo's sudden return. The parrot squawked indignantly. "What do you know about this, Panther? This is all your fault." "It's not my fault," Zayo said, his tone unwavering. "But I do know what this is. It's the star spiral, a sign meant to guide us. We need to follow it." "Guide us where?" questioned the elephant, his deep voice filled with suspicion. "To the lunar grove. It's a sanctuary, a place where the life force of the jungle is strongest. But we have to move quickly. The spiral won't stay long." "How do we know you're not leading us into a trap?" asked the monkey, narrowing his eyes. "You don't," Zayo replied plainly. "But staying here will only bring darkness and cold. You can complain and point fingers, or you can trust me and survive. The choice is yours." The animals whispered amongst themselves. It was the tortoise who spoke first, shifting his weary legs forward. "I'll go. I've seen fear destroy us before. Perhaps it's time for faith." The rabbit hesitated, then stepped forward nervously. "If the tortoise goes, then maybe I will too." One by one, others joined the group. The elephant, the monkey, the deer, the parrots. Finally, the entire jungle began to move, following Zao as he led the way. The path was treacherous. Zao guided the animals with precision, using his sharp senses to detect dangers they hadn't noticed. He stopped them just before stepping into quicksand. He pointed out a venomous snake waiting in ambush. He even calmed the frightened animals when the sounds of the jungle grew. Despite themselves, the animals began to marvel at his leadership. The monkey muttered under his breath, "Bah, he's luckier than I thought. Or maybe just smart." When they arrived at the lunar grove, the animals gasped in awe. The grove was bathed in silvery light, the glowing flowers swaying gently as if welcoming them. The celestial lights above focused into a single, radiant beam that encircled Zao. "It's him," whispered the deer, "the light. It chose him." The parrot, usually so loud and brash, spoke softly. "We were wrong. He's the reason we're here." The elephant stepped forward first, lowering his massive head humbly before Zao. "Zao, we owe you an apology. We judged you without reason. We didn't see who you truly are." One by one, the animals came forward to apologize. The rabbit twitched nervously, but managed to say, "I'm sorry for being cruel. Can you forgive me?" "Of course," Zao said, his voice kind but firm. "But remember, it's not forgiveness that matters most. What matters is the lesson you carry forward. Judgment blinds us, but understanding builds community." The animals nodded, humbled. They circled around Zao, no longer divided by fear or mistrust. They saw now that Zao's strength came not from his color, but from his character. The next morning, the jungle felt alive with a newfound harmony. The animals gathered around Zao, laughing and sharing stories. The monkey scratched his head. "You know, Zao, maybe you could stick around. The jungle's better with you in it." Zao smiled. "If you'll have me, I'd be honored to stay." And from that day on, the jungle thrived. The animals, once divided, now celebrated Zao as one of their own, a reminder that difference is not something to fear, but to value.